Yo.
You're in the mix.
The world's finest, man. DJ.
We're doing it live, and we're doing it real on YouTube. It's the What's the Real Deal radio show every Friday night weekly.
Oh my God.
Shut the front door.
What?
If you're weak-minded or sensitive, you might get your feelings hurt in here. Jump up game with the fam. And remember to like, share, and subscribe.
What's good, people? What's good, people? Big Rich here from Big Rich Live on the Mic Radio Show here on YouTube. Welcome to the next installment, or this installment, of What's the Real Deal. I'm still feeling pretty bad, but it's nowhere near how I was feeling last week. Sorry we missed last week's show. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Iowa Congressman Representative Steve King. I first got to say, does Steve King know that he's a bigot? Notice he's a racist? He must know he's an idiot. But really? I mean, I'm talking about, and I'm sorry, I was sick. I really couldn't jump on it like you guys wanted me to when it first jumped off, when it first came out. His tweets and stuff like that. His tweet was, I can't even remember the day. I have the tweet here, I just don't have the date. But it says, "Will is understand that culture and demographics are our destiny. We can't restore our civilization with somebody else's babies." Okay, so some people might say, usually the people who agree with this is like, well, what's wrong with that? Our civilization, what the hell civilization are you talking about? Because civilization, civilization encompasses a whole bunch. We're all part of this civilization here. Unless Congressman King did not realize that. Oh, he realized that. He realized that. He was just too dumb to sort of slice it up. This man is a bigot. This man, and we'll get into, not why he's a bigot, but we'll get into how I feel, how in the past I've said, if you want to be a bigot, then be a bigot. I'd rather know that you ain't shit. I'd rather know that you can't stand me. I'd rather know that you're a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, a narcissist, a cheapskate, a murderer, a rapist, whatever. I would love to know that, because then I know how to react to you accordingly. But the problem with Representative King is he is a congressman. He is in a position of power, although he is just one of many senators. I'm just parasite. He's one of a few congressmen in the state of Iowa. But when you start to think about that, you be like, okay, well, that's Iowa. We have been so indoctrinated that racism is just in the South. Those 11 southern states. You better get your head out your ass. There is racists everywhere. There's racists in my hometown of New York City. And I'm not talking about, Chinese racists, and I'm talking about pure white nationalists, white racists. They everywhere. It's just small, it's just in smaller not congregations. Smaller congregations throughout this country and throughout the world, really. But what I tell people when they was hitting me back and forth about this, I was like, do you realize this is the same fool? And that's what I call him, a fool. This is the same fool that came on national TV just before the election. He was on, actually it was election day. He was on a panel with Chris Hayes. Chris Hayes is a Poindexter, corny motherfucker, excuse my French. I shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth. That hosts the 8 to 9 p.m. hour every day, Monday through Friday on MSNBC. I say that and I call him the MF because I used to, all through the Obama years, I used to watch him and Rachel Maddow, right? Actually, Al Sharpton was the one who brought me to MSNBC, and then I started watching. I did not like Hardball. Don't like Al Hardball. I think Chris Matthews is an arrogant ass. And then the show before Revs, I can't remember him. He's no longer with. I didn't like his show. But before that, Alex, Asian female. I can't remember. It'll come to me. Her, and then the Pulse, and then later on, Chris Hayes, and then Rachel Maddow, and then it'll come to me. The other guy from 10 to 11. Well, anyway, he came on his show and said that no other subgroup. First of all, sir, what the hell? No. I'm a curse here. What the fuck is a subgroup? Really? What is a subgroup? If you put all races, all skin colors of the entire world together, you will understand that blacks are not the minority. Black, brown people are not the minority. Caucasians actually are. You know, that white skin. So what subculture are you talking about? But I digress. Let's get away. Let's get away from that. This fool says that no subgroup have ever contributed to this great nation. Really? Really? Okay, let's just say I'm going to go, I just bump my head and I'm not a white nationalist, so I say black, brown, and red people are subgroups, okay? The major subgroup, black people, built this country. Whether you want to believe it or not, the cotton, everybody who got some sense said that the cotton that was picked, grown, harvested, whatever you want to say, by the slaves was worth more than gold. It was the #1 export of this country. The majority of rich millionaires, if you want to go use that verbiage, were from the South. Why? Because of the cotton crops. Okay, so this foundation, this conglomerate, if you will, of the United States of America was built off the backs of slaves. We're not even going to get into the entire land was stolen from the red people, just massacred. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know some people have said it to me, and I'm just not that type of person, but if Representative King can say something like that, then that means that other people can say, well, damn, the reason the Arabs hate us is because of the Caucasian people. The reasons that a lot of Muslims and these is because of them, not us. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. But that will be wrong to say. Not that it's not factual, but you are generalizing everyone. How the hell do you, and I just went to slavery. I didn't get to any, because, okay, one thing I've learned in my research, you know, going for my MBA, and hopefully, God willing, I'm going to start for another bachelor's, but this is going to be in graphic art design. But anyway, I'm just saying that that's a brag or to my own home, but to say that I'm going to be currently going back to school, so, you know, a lot of my electives and stuff like that, I'm going to take a lot more history. I just love history. One thing I've learned going through school, right, is that because slavery, you had, what, 300 years, 250 years, depending on who you want to ask, of slavery, and then another 75 to 90 years, I think it's closer to 75 years of Jim Crow in this country. How many of the inventions, the ideas, the practical ideas that are now worth trillions of dollars, I'm talking about over the long haul, you know what I'm saying? How many of those were developed by slaves and taken by the masters? How many? You know, everybody, I get the cotton gin threw up in my face. And I never really thought about it. So I think I was like, okay, everything was going pretty good then. Okay, and we understand that the massa want more cotton to be harvested. We understand that. But they not trying to do that to make slaves better. I mean, to make their lives easier. No. So who the hell you think might have come up with that originally? You feel me? Jim Beam, we just found out officially, unofficially, that Jim Beam, the formula for Jim Beam, was developed by a slave, and his master at the time then took it, refined it, whitified it up, or whitewashed it up, and now you got Jim Beam, and that whole conglomerate is worth $27 billion, I think, something like that. So when you see stuff like that, it makes you wonder how much of this really was developed by the dominant society. Again, I'm not throwing shade. These are just questions that you have. If you're going to bring up that nobody, no subgroup, no subculture has done anything to contribute to this great nation, you smoking crack. But I've always said there's actually there's 4. I don't remember the other guy's name. But there's like 4 congressmen. When you think of dumb, there's 4 of them. Steve King comes to mind. Louis Gohmert comes to mind. Issa, ASSA. I don't remember his name. He's from California. And then there's another one, big heavyset dude. I think he might be from Texas. But when you look at him, you be like, that looked like a dumb MF. You know, something ain't right. But let's get back to we can't restore our civilization with somebody else's babies. Well, the problem you have, if you have a problem, is not with black, brown, yellow, red, any of us. What it is with your woman, right? Because if the dominant society, if the white man sleeps with any other, 8 out of every 10 times, then, you know, the baby's going to take on the pigment and the characteristics of the darker shade. Every now and again, you'll see, you know, a interracial couple, you know, and then the baby looks Caucasian. You know, most of the time, you know, maybe the hair might be straight, but the pigment is a little bit darker, or the features and that type of stuff. We're not trying to get into an anatomy class, but still. So if you want to quote unquote restore your civilization, I'm still trying to figure out what civilization the hell he's talking about. What is he referring to? But if that's what you want to do, then you need to get with your woman, the white woman, and be like, hey, we need to have more babies. But see, I don't even try to get into that dynamic between the dominant society's male and female structure. Ain't none of my business. It's really not. I have no idea why Caucasian women are having less babies now. But I tell you one thing, people like Steve King, David Duke, Donald Trump, the rest of these clowns, the Louis Gohmerts, the Ted Cruz, whatever. Let's take Ted Cruz out. They scared to death because it's one of those things. This is the deal. This is what I'll say. Somebody told me this years ago, and I wish I can remember exactly who said it. And no, I'm not going senile or dementia. I just listen to so many people. If you're on this earth one more day than I am, I'm listening to what you got to say. As long as it's backed up by facts. And when I fact check it, it rolls in. If you live on the other side of the world, if you live on the other side of the country, if you live on the other side of town, and I've never been there, or I visited there, I'm listening to what you got to say because you live there. You work there, you play there. You know what I mean? So that's why I can't remember. But I remember they said to me, you always know when people know that they messed up. Know when they fucked up, excuse my French. Because when the tables look like it's going to turn, they believe that you're going to do the same shit to them that they did to you. You got to think about it. If I'm the majority, okay, and I've treated everybody fairly, and you know I got mine, you got yours. Basically, it was a system based on performance. You know, if you smarter than me, then you should get this. If you better than me in this, you should get that. It's not a system on if my skin is lighter than yours, I get this, or my pockets are deeper than yours, then I get that. You follow what I'm saying? So it's a situation where if you have something that's not that and it's across the board fair, you don't care, or you shouldn't care if your numbers are dominant or not. Now, if it's some shit like, you know, we dying off early, or some type of disease that only affects us, then you start panicking. You know what I mean? You start panicking. You be like, well, we need to figure this out. That's not what this is. But normally, if you about fair and you've done everything that you should do, that type of stuff right there, then you don't care if you no longer the dominant society, if you no longer have the numbers, because you know, hey, I was fair when I was in charge, and now it's your turn to be in charge. You should be fair also. But when you know that you have fucked people, when you know that you have been unfair and cruel to people, you feel that if they're ever in a position that they outnumber you, they will treat you and your people just like you treated them. That's why you have a Steve King, and you have a Louis Gohmert, and you have a Bill Dukes, and you have a Donald Trump and a Steve Bannon, and all of these types of clowns right here talking that white nationalist stuff. Now, if you love white people, that's cool. I'm okay. There's some white people I love. I am not the type of person who will say I love black people, but when you say you love white people, I call you a racist. The problem I have with that is when you say I love white people and white people are better. White people should be first. White people should get before you. White people, you should not get what I get because I'm a white person. That's when I got a problem with it. I have no problem with Caucasian people loving themselves and people who look like them. You should look up to people who look like you as role models initially. You know what I'm saying? You should look at people within your family tree that will be your first role models. These are the types of people that you should look at. So I have no problem with that. None. You will never hear me say on this radio show that somebody said I love white people and I want the betterment. I want to do things for white people, and I want to betterment my race. I have no problem with that, as long as it ends there and there's not a caveat saying, well, I want to better my race at the detriment of yours. And unfortunately, that's the white nationalist mantra. So when you have a Steve King, when you have a Louis Gohmert, these type of people right here that are in positions of power, it makes you scratch your head. It makes you wonder, okay, when things come up to make things even, when things come up to make things fair across the board, how are they voting? Are they voting for the entire country to be fair, or are they voting for people who look like them? Unfortunately, Representative King shows you that's what he's trying to do. Now, if you read the headlines, they say that he's being vilified and picked apart in Washington and you know, the North, if you will, but he's still loved in Iowa. And you know what that means? That means that there's a lot of bigots and racists and ideologues and narcissists and ignorant people in Iowa. Period. When you have representatives like that, they do what? They say exactly what the people who put them up there did. That's what they do. So just because you say that Representative King is still beloved at home, that just means a bunch of bigots and a bunch of racists that love his bigoted, his ignorant ass. I mean, that's all that means. It don't mean, oh, that he's right. It just means, you know, let me tell you where I'll be impressed. Impressed. I'll be impressed if the thing said Steve King is getting dogged out in Washington, and he is now getting backlash in his home district, then I would be impressed. Other than that, I expect them to be loyal to him. They just bigoted and racist as he is. So that is my 2 cents. I appreciate all of the emails and tweets on it. Sorry it took so long. As you guys can still hear in my voice, I'm still a little bit down, but I'm trying to do what I can. So I don't know if there's going to be a show Saturday. There might be a show Saturday. If I can bump it out tomorrow, I'll bump it out tomorrow and go out on Saturday. But there will be a movie review on Monday. I don't know if I'm going to do one of the 4 movies that I told you about before, or because I plan on going to the movies twice this weekend. So it might be one of those. So in the meantime, in between time, stay safe, stay woke, stay blessed. Peace. I'm out.